right. We're doing it. It's Critters 3 and 4, and this is the franchise with your host on the ones and the twos, the D-Train, Daniel Ehrenberg. And who's that over there?
Oh, it's the guy down here, down south, down Jersey, for episode 165. Dan, fix your mic.
Oh, shit. Why didn't you tell me that before we started?
I kind of thought it would happen. I did.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah. Did you actually try to just correct me on the episode?
Yeah, well, no. I tried to guess it before you said something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You were pretty late on it, guess. Yeah, no, it's 165.
Well, all right. 165. We're covering Critters 3 and Critters 4. And they're both great.
Oh, yeah.
These
Fun for all.
These two films, and I want to once again thank our patron John Evan Bear for suggesting these and for his lovely donation. And I'd like to say these films were made back to back, Henry.
Yeah, they were.
Simultaneously, actually, not even back to back. These films were in production at the same time. So high was producer David or Rupert Harvey. Rupert Harvey was the guy who greenlit these babies. And he was ready. Even though Critters 2 did not make its budget back, they were like, you know what the world needs? 2 more of these right now.
Very odd, yeah. And to the point where when I initially looked them up, I thought they were like released in the same year, but they weren't.
No, but less than a year apart.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So
very different too. Yeah,
very different. Well, they had, that's what happens when you film movies at the same time. It's almost like, you remember that reality show, The Chair?
Sure.
You remember that?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do, man. Didn't we? I thought we watched this together.
Give me the premise.
Okay, this is the show where Zachary Quinto was like, we gotta shoot in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
And they got one screenplay that they really liked, and they got 2 very different filmmakers. One, a sort of a female, low-budget, tender indie filmmaker, and the other, YouTuber Shane Dawson. And they went off and made movies out of the same script.
That's right.
Okay.
Now I remember that.
Now, these movies don't have the same script, but basically, the idea was, we're making 2 Critters movies. You go off and make Critters 3. I, the producer, will go off and direct Critters 4. And then we'll pop a scene at the end of your movie that will bridge into mine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that explains the 2 different directors.
That's right.
Being filmed simultaneously with 2 different very strange.
Absolutely. It was 2 different crews, just like making Critters movies.
My God.
I know.
Critters invasion.
It really was.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Yeah, these were two gems starring some big people.
I would argue that at least one of these movies is kind of a gem.
I would argue possibly the same.
Okay.
But I don't know if we're going to say the same one.
Interesting. So Critters 3 is a movie I've kind of always wanted to see because it's the first appearance of Leo.
Yes.
Hey, yes. Hank, have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet?
My plan is to see it tomorrow evening.
I saw it.
You saw it? Thumbs up? Thumbs
up, baby. Loved every second of it.
How's your friend Leo?
He's great. He's great. And I think I found the common denominator, Henry.
Tarantino.
Well, but Tarantino knows what to do with Leo.
Yeah.
Have him play a dumb guy.
Oh.
Because Leonardo DiCaprio is a mongoloid pervert, and so that's what we're going to have him play in these movies.
Wow. That's quite a... Okay. I always thought he was one of the perhaps intellectually smarter actors.
How? He doesn't do interviews, Henry. How do you know that?
He's interested in the planet.
Okay. We're gonna give him endless credit for making that shitty documentary. The 11th Hour.
It doesn't seem like he's a complete idiot to me.
He seems to me like he's a complete idiot.
Really? All right.
Well, I mean, apparently the only women he can talk to are 19 years old. So
that is an interesting point. That's
Yeah.
a very fair point. If he does, yeah, because he's like what? He's like my age, right? He's like 40.
I think he's older than you.
He's older than me. That makes me feel.
Let's look it up, buddy. Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's find out his date of birth, his old DOB. All right, I'm looking it up. He's older than you, Henry. He was born November 11th, 1974. He's 44 years old, and he only dates 19-year-olds.
Right, he's 4 years older than me. Okay, yeah, that's kind of. I mean, that's not. He's not alone, but like that really says something. Like I guess he's afraid. Because of course there's no good-looking 40-year-old women in Hollywood. None. None at
Forget
all.
Hollywood. Anybody. Matt Damon's married to a secretary or something.
Yeah, I know. You're right. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh, well.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. But let's talk about his performance in Critters 3.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, get going on the stats, and then.
Okay. So this first of the two simultaneously filmed Critters films is Critters 3. It is directed by a lady.
Yeah.
How about that? And, kind of an interesting director, Christine Peterson. She worked second unit. She was a second unit director in the 80s, including on such films as Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and my favorite movie, Chopping Mall.
Right. The only three on here that have any kind of popularity were the
Well, she worked on Tremors, but also the guy who produced these two Critters movies and himself directed Critters 4 worked as a producer on A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, and so that's how she got this gig. Now, you'll recall, Henry, that is a movie that I thought was terrible, that you and Jason Anthony Harris seem to think is a very good Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
You loved it.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. Is that what
you were defending that to me.
Oh, that's the Asylum one.
No, it's not. That's the third one. We all loved that one.
I'm looking at the plot. Dressed in a nun's habit.
They all take place in an asylum.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's a very good point. Yeah. Oh, I remember this. Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah, right.
All right, so Christine Peterson, she's there in the 90s. She's making Jason ripoffs. She's making some like sexy Adrian Lyne dramas. She directed an episode of Silk Stockings. I love it.
Nice. I remember that show.
Yep. Kickboxer 5. She directed that.
Well done.
With Mark Dacascos.
All right.
And so that's Christine Peterson. I don't think she's still working today, but we'll let her have it.
Yeah, sure.
She'll always will have directed Leo.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. The screenplay is written by a fella named David J. Show. Okay, and this guy's a fucking weirdo. He's a German fella. He is known for dressing in all leather in his real life.
Yeah, wow. I'm looking at his screen. Okay.
Okay. He has written a lot of movies though, and he got this job off of writing Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Okay.
Yeah. He also worked on the remake of or the prequel, whichever fucking stupid movie that was.
Yes, you're right. Yes, yeah.
And he worked on The Crow and also Freddy vs. Jason. So we've encountered him a lot. He wrote a draft of Freddy vs. Jason. I don't think he's credited.
Okay, and ironically, you mentioned his leather, and the title of that Texas movie begins with Leatherface. So maybe he wanted to call it Leatherface because of his affinity.
Yeah, he's like, I love Leatherface. I'll be all leather except my face.
Yeah. Is he an actor too? I'm looking at his picture.
He looks really familiar. He looks sort of like Booger from Revenge of the Nerds.
A little bit, but You're right. Good call. But now he looks like somebody else. I'm thinking too. But I guess he isn't. Yeah. All right. Fine.
All right. This movie came out on VHS or whatever, December 11th, 1991, just in time for the Christmas season. You got Critters fans on your Christmas list?
Yeah. Oh my.
Stuff
goodness.
their stocking with a little critter.
Talk about like a lazy parent gift, right? If you're like laid out shopping, it's 91, and you're just like, oh, Junior, oh God, what do I get this kid? He has all the Transformers. He's got all the wrestling. Oh, what's this? Critters 3? It looks like a thing.
Come on, that kid doesn't want Critters 3. He wants like the Technodrome playset.
Of course, but that's not what Dad's getting.
That's true. No, it's true. My dad wouldn't even go so far as to buy me a VHS. I remember I could only
a lot of them.
I can only remember one present that my dad ever got me, and he came back from a vacation in Florida that he didn't invite the rest of the family to with him, and he came back with like 3 comic books for me, 3 single issue comic books, and they were all like the middle issues of miniseries.
Hey, listen, man. There's a thought that's there, clearly.
There's a thought in that he came across a comic book and remembered I exist.
Right.
Yeah.
But a thought nonetheless.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, wait, what is this comic? I know someone who likes these. Oh, yeah, my son.
Right, my son, that guy. Right. We should do the top 10 of 1991.
Sure.
I redid my lists again this week because I have all the time in the world.
Yeah, that's right, you do. Mm-hmm. I do not and have not.
I'm like that guy, who wants to read until he's...
Burgess Meredith in the Twilight Zone.
That's right. You knew what I was referencing.
Of course I did. Yeah.
All right.
Great.
I forgot that was fucking Burgess Meredith.
Yeah, and he what does he step on his glasses?
Yeah, he fucks up his glasses, and then it's like, no!
No! Yeah.
All right. I've got some honorables because I made my new list, and they are T2, Body Parts, Poison, and Dogfight.
Wow, Body Parts. Holy shit.
An incredible film.
I think I saw that when it came out in theaters, and I never saw it again.
That is a movie that's
Jeff Fahey, right?
Jeff Fahey is dynamite in that movie. Okay. And I saw like a bad movie podcast, like How Did This Get Made or something, covered Body Parts, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? That movie's great.
All right, I have some honorables too. Backdraft.
Sure.
The Last Boy Scout.
These aren't honorable mentions.
Sure they are.
These are just movies that came out that year.
I put them in HMs a while ago. I don't know when, but yeah. Kafka, Bugsy. And I feel like I got this year wrong, but Shadows and Fog?
No, that's that year. That's that year. I added it to my list.
All right.
Good. What's your number 10?
Point Break.
Mine is Homicide.
Good. Glad to see it on there.
Mm-hmm.
That might be new for you.
I think it's been on there.
Number 9, Only the Lonely.
Okay. Is that a John Candy movie?
Yeah. John Hughes, John Candy.
I think I get that movie mixed up with Only the Strong.
Okay.
That's another Mark Dacascos movie. He's getting a lot of mentions on the podcast.
I like that. I like it. All right.
Yeah. My number 9 is The Man in the Moon.
Okay. My number 8 is Defending Your Life.
My number 8 is Point Break.
My number 7 is Homicide.
My number 7 is Jungle Fever.
My number 6 is The Doors.
My number 6 is Slacker.
All right. Here we go, folks.
These are the grand slams, the slap shots, the three-pointers, the touchdowns, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitter.
Cape Fear.
Are you vaping over there?
Yes.
It's a different vibe than the Black and Milds. It's funny. You like I hear like if you pay attention very closely, listeners, in the back of the theme song, you used to be able to hear like Henry taking a hard drag, and now you just hear like.
Yeah, it's a different experience, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. My number 5 is Trust.
Okay, all right. My number 4 is Barton Fink.
My number 4 is Barton Fink.
Nice. My number 3 is JFK.
My number 3 is Boys in the Hood.
My number 2 is The Fisher King.
My number 2 is My Own Private Idaho.
My number 1 is The Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, so silent. Love it. Okay, so.
Yours as well?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
The movie starts, I don't know if you noticed this, Henry, but when the title Critters 3 pops up in big block letters, you hear a critter in the background go, "Wah!"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't recall that.
I enjoyed it very much.
Oh, boy.
So I was already in.
Yeah, obviously.
All right.
Sure.
So then we meet our new family. It's a dad, a bearded dad, his daughter, who's sort of like our main character. She's sort of like a likable, semi-tomboyish. Reminded me of Linda Cardellini.
Oh, wow. Sure. I
Okay.
can see that.
Yeah. And then you've got a little boy.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. He sucks. Yeah, I thought the girl was pretty good.
I thought the girl was really good. Like,
Yeah.
why hasn't she been in stuff?
I agree. I mean, who she was better than?
Who? Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
I mean,
Leo's, he's being a little demonstrative in this film. Like,
oh my God.
like
Well,
his,
he's already the first thing I thought of, like, from his first moment was like he's already whatever teacher he had or whatever, he's already doing like his fucking gritting teeth, like, you've got to listen. Every line.
I want you to be, I hope you die, Dad.
Yeah, like everything's like so intense. It's like, Leo, take it down a notch.
But that's Leo, man. Leo's had the same manager since he was a kid. He still has the same manager. He's never gotten an agent.
Is that right?
Yeah, and he, I think that everyone he was working with when he was like 10 are still on his team.
Well,
so,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very cool, but also his acting has not evolved from this
shut
point.
That's
I mean, honestly,
Well, that style is still there.
throw this character from Critters 3 out in the wilderness, and you've got yourself the Revenant.
Yeah, he's. Oh my God! I just did some math. Wait a minute. Am I to believe if he's born in 1974 that he was 16
Yeah.
when he did this movie? At least.
Yeah. Don't you remember? He, like, didn't go through puberty until after Titanic.
I do not.
Come
I'm
on.
sorry, dude. Watching this movie, I'm not kidding, man. I thought he was like 12.
I wasn't able to see Leo as an adult until, like, fucking, I don't know,
Catch Me If
Blood
You Can.
Diamond or something.
Yeah, right. No, I didn't. Wow, that is mind blowing, dude. That you just blew my mind. I didn't look up his age. I kind of thought he was my age. So when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh yeah, so he's probably 12 or.
No, I'm
most.
watching this movie. I'm watching this movie trying to clock how many women in the cast he fucked.
I guess you are now. If he's 16.
He's 16. You know that older lady that, like, is into the dad in this movie?
Yeah,
I bet you he fucked her.
probably. That's the phone company lady, right? With a tough.
Yeah,
kinda-
that's right.
Yeah.
She's
All
a little
right.
mannish looking. But but he definitely fucked this girl.
I would think so.
And she's not working anymore. I would wager that he got her thrown out of Hollywood. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is a vindictive son of a bitch.
Oh my God, we just make. I shouldn't say we. You may just make a lot of proclamations here about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well, is this the first time we're talking about him at length? Have we covered a movie he's been in?
No, but we've ranked his movies.
That's right. That's right. But you only know that if you're a patron, gang.
It's true. If you want to, you pay $5. You can hear us go through every one of his movies.
Shut Critters 3, our Critters 3 podcast off right now. Pay the $5. You can listen to that shit right now. Patreon.com/thefranchise.
Which, of course, in our rankings, Critters 3 wouldn't have been on there.
That's right. We got to add it. It'd be pretty high on mine, frankly.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So all right.
That's Leo.
Well, we first meet Leo, and they're at like sort of a car stop. What do you call these?
Not like, well,
it's like a scenic overlook.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because then they are at a rest stop, but conveniently the tire blows, and so at the rest stop,
right. It was good. It was very lucky.
Yeah, I've gotten flat tires many times in my life, and it's always right as I'm pulling into a convenience store or a gas station with a pump and a jack.
He blows his tire at the rest stop, hours away from home on a family trip, and somehow they manage to run into their own landlord, who is there at the rest stop, smoking a sweet cigarette in like a cigarette holder.
And he has that detestable yachting outfit on.
Yeah, he's that guy.
My God.
And Leo is off over there. He's playing a little disc. Know what I'm saying?
Is he playing disc?
He's throwing that sweet, sweet frizz around.
Oh, all right. I thought the girl was playing.
No. He's throwing that frisbee around, and he comes over to the kid. Hey, bro, you want to play a little disc? All right.
And then that gets tossed into the mine.
Well, I'm not done. He starts talking to the kid, and the girl comes over and questions why he's talking to her brother. She says, "What are you, some kind of pervert or something?" Right. And my first thought is yes. He's a huge pervert.
My first thought was like, "Oh my God, that's very very accusatory."
Yeah.
Here's Leo. He's 11.
Yeah, take it down a notch, lady. He's not trying to fuck your little brother.
Christ, I was like, all right. I mean, he's a stranger, but like, he's an 11-year-old by what I could see.
He's 16.
Right.
So yeah, they throw the sweet disc into the woods, and Leo's like, "Don't worry, babe, I got it." And he goes down there and runs into our old friend Charlie from the first two movies, that alcoholic guy.
I was also again instantly confused. I guess I forgot, or I thought Charlie kamikazed himself in Critters 2.
No, I didn't think so. I knew
he blew himself up to destroy that one thing. Did he parachute out of there and I'm just forgetting it?
I don't remember, man, but all I knew is that he's in all of these, so I knew he wasn't dead.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
So Charlie gives them the rundown. They're like, "Hey, what's going on around here?" And instead of just saying, like, "Leave me alone, you're children, I don't answer to you," he's like, "Here's my life story. I used to be a real drunk, and then I met some critters." And
it is a long tale.
So we get it's a previously on Critters, complete with flashbacks.
Yes.
And also he says that the first movie took place in 1984.
He certainly does.
Which I was very confused by. That movie came out in 1986. What do they stand to gain from putting it in 1984?
I don't know. All I thought when he said that was, my mind literally went like this. It began to calculate some problems, and then it stopped involuntarily. This is my brain. It stopped involuntarily and then said to me, "You've encountered this before. Who gives a fuck?" And I was fine.
Your brain said that to you?
Yeah.
Is that? You seem to exist separately from your brain. That's not
watching
really
this-
how my brain works. My
It
brain's
is-
just like a part of me.
No, when I throw on a movie like Critters 3, usually my body is not really present, but the brain is actively trying to watch.
Are you always just having like an ongoing conversation with your brain?
It's a dialogue, or like, if you will, an inner monologue sometimes. Should I get it checked out? Should I get that, maybe an MRI or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. It is weird.
Okay. It never occurred to me these 41 years. Yeah, maybe I should look into that. Maybe it's an issue.
41 years, Henry. 41 years old you are. You are now the same amount of shots that Amadou Diallo took.
You are right. Oh, you are right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's something to think about.
I know. Especially after yesterday's
Don't.
dual mass shootings.
I can't even.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay. So yeah, back to Charlie. He's only capable of being friends with kids. He doesn't seem to know how to interact with adults.
It's true. I mean, it's probably because he's an idiot.
He is, but like at a certain point, he has gone. He's had quite a life. Like
He really has, actually. Yeah.
his life was very small. He was a small town alcoholic with like a kid friend, and now like he's traversed the galaxy.
Yeah, but that wouldn't necessarily expand his mind. I mean, look at Forrest Gump. He had an amazing
But
life.
he like hung out with those two bounty hunter guys for years. But like he always seems most comfortable around children.
Right. I mean, he's still a moron. I mean, I don't think his mind was expanded. He certainly didn't have a brain talking to him like me. So, there's not a lot going on in Charlie's internal universe. But you are right.
Yeah, so he tells them everything. Like, there's critters around here, they're aliens, and watch out for them.
And after all that, their reaction is like, yeah, all right.
As it should be, Henry. He's a fucking maniac in the woods.
But I just think it's funny that the time elapsed for him to tell all that story. I mean, they at least listened to him in real time for like 10
Well, because we need
minutes.
to get those sweet flashbacks.
Right, so like they're standing in the marsh for like 10 minutes. And then they're like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And it gave
It's
long.
true. It's like a Family Guy joke. Charlie's like, you think that's bad? How about the time that I fought critters on the farm? And then we cut away.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
Okay. Next, they get home. Okay, they fix the tire. We're home now. Leo he sort of has like a separate plot where he's like fighting with his dad, and then it's his stepdad actually, and then the
Yeah.
stepdad dies. The critters kill him, and he
Yeah.
feels bad because like the last thing he said to him is, "I hope you die" or something.
Yeah.
But that's like off to the side this entire movie. Leo doesn't come back into the main action until much
I was just
later.
gonna say, yeah, that scene doesn't happen till way in, but I'm okay with jumping that forward. But yeah, the family of three. What is this dad's situation? So he's like traveling, but then he says, "I've got to go to Chicago." So he's going to be leaving them with two old people. Are they relatives?
No, they're just old people who live in the building. This is a very tight-knit building. It reminded me a lot. It's funny.
Troll.
We said that the first Critters movie reminded us of Troll 2. This
right.
one reminded me a lot of Troll 1.
Yeah, you're right. The building even looks the same.
Yeah, and there's a pervert in there.
Yeah, it
Just
probably
like Sonny
is.
Bono.
Yeah. There is nothing as awesome in this movie as Sonny Bono.
I disagree. I loved this character, Frank. Frank. Okay, so let's meet some of the building, people. So there's a guy named Frank who he's got a New York accent and he works in the building. I think he's like the super or something. And he's sort of like he's sort of like a cool hep cat. So he's walking around the building like, hey, what's going on in here? You know?
You're right. He's got like a Fonz thing going on inexplicably.
Yeah, but he's also a pervert, and I was all set for this guy to make this movie for me, Henry.
Really?
When he first showed up on screen, I have it written down here, which I never do. I wrote it down instantly. MVP.
Get out of here.
I swear. I loved this guy. But then he gets killed real early. He's like the first one the critters get to. But I love this guy. There's that like fat woman Rosalie who she starts to like drop her clothes down the laundry chute.
Yes.
And Frank is in the basement, and he's like, oh, hey, look at this. It's a fucking gold mine over here. And he just, like, picks up her giant panties and starts sniffing at them. And he's like, oh, baby, that's the stuff. I could inhale these britches. Know what I'm saying? And
how many movies have we covered lately or in the last year where the laundry chute?
A lot of laundry chutes. And this one was extra weird because the laundry, in most movies, it falls down the laundry chute into some sort of a laundry basket.
Right.
But in this, it just like comes down the chute and like lands on the fucking floor of the basement.
That's great. Good stuff.
Yeah.
We encountered it in Child's Play. We encountered it in Pet Sematary. We've encountered it in Halloween.
That's right. The Child's Play remake.
Yeah, there's lots of laundry chutes. We've even had a semi of a laundry chute in Aliens. I mean, they play a big role in movies, ladies and gents. Laundry chutes.
Sure. How about Star Wars? They get stuck in that laundry chute.
We'll get there in the next movie.
Okay, so Frank's sniffing the panties. But, unfortunately, underneath that pile of clothes is a critter or two. You know, at first, is this the movie? No, I'm thinking of the fourth one. Never mind. Okay. Right. So the critters show up, and I will say something. I like the critter design the most in this one. And I'll tell you what they did. I think they made them look more like they do in the drawings on the movie posters.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't notice much of a difference.
If you look at the Critters and Critters 2 boxes, they look like they do in this movie.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right.
So they're just little fur balls rolling around, and then they jump out in their mouth with the big teeth. It's good. Yeah. I think it's a better design. It's more fully formed.
I did not catch that nor feel that way. There was a similarity that just I never noticed any sort of advancement.
Well, they stuck with the Chiodo brothers, right?
Yes.
They designed. We didn't talk about that last week. The Chiodo brothers are the ones that that designed the critters. They're sort of like Tom Savini designed Jason. You know?
Yeah. They. All I thought about with them was that there was a great bar in Pittsburgh on the water that I used to love called Kyoto's, spelt the exact same way.
Well, they might be Kyoto, too.
Yeah, it was a great bar, very cheap, and you could sit on the water. It was a shithole, though, which is what made it obviously great. Yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan of the Kyoto brothers, Henry, because they wrote and directed Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is a great movie.
I've never seen it.
And they also created the 1990s cartoon series, The Amazing Live Sea Monkeys, which I watched every episode of.
Okay. Kyoto brothers. All right.
Chiodo, I don't know.
Well, yeah. I'm going to go with the old standby that I know, Kyoto. Okay. Whatever.
They also... They've worked on a lot of movies, including Theodore Rex.
Did they have anything to do with the Kyoto Accords that were signed in the 90s? Were they involved in that?
I don't think so, man.
No, they weren't? I don't know. Maybe they were involved. Bill Clinton knew, but okay.
I bet Bill Clinton was into Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Maybe. He was a big movie buff.
Yeah, he loves Police Academy.
He loved Fight Club, too.
Is that right?
Yeah, I remember those movie yearbooks. Of course you do, with Roger Ebert.
Yeah, of course.
At the back, he would have like interviews with people. And in the '99 one, or I guess it would have been 2000, really, he interviewed Bill Clinton, and they talked about movies, and they were talking about like some movies of '99, and Bill Clinton really loved Fight Club.
You know, Obama, he's a big movie buff too,
Yeah,
but I feel like in interviews he only talks about like classy shit. And I want to know what's Obama watching when nobody else is around.
I agree. You're right. Because he is always saying that, but I agree. Or he either that or he's just talking about The Wire, man.
No, I know, but he's always in interviews going like, "I thought Moonlight was a masterpiece."
Yeah, right. I agree. I want to see when the lights go down. What he was watching in that presidential theater. Was he just like, Jimmy, roll the Basic Instinct 2.
Yeah, that's what I want to know, man. Is he like a huge, like, secretly he's like, well, I would like to see the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Well, in 2008, when he kept texting everybody, if you remember that, always texting me, Obama, constantly, I feel like I wanted to lend him my copy of The Dark Knight, since I had his number.
What?
You know what I'm talking about? You don't remember that at all.
No.
We knew and that was like a running gag we had in the department. You don't remember that joke?
That Obama texted you?
Yeah, he kept texting everybody because he was the relentless, like, donation asking before he got elected. I remember Halajian walking around the department going, Obama, stop texting me.
Oh, I kind of do remember that. That's great.
Oh, well, all right.
Okay, so anyway, what happens? The critters kill Frank, basically.
Yeah.
All right, then the critters just, like, run rampant in this
Yeah,
building.
they're in this building. Yeah. Annie's kind of taking the lead. Leo's not very useful. The dad gets taken out pretty quick, and does Big Rosalie, and they're like at one point,
Big Rosalie?
Sure. I almost said fat, so
Yeah,
Big Rosalie.
Big Rosalie.
Big Rosalie. And, it seems like they've both been hit by the critter dart, which either paralyzes you or puts you to sleep. I
feel like they killed you in the first one or two.
I know. It's very odd. I agree. That
yeah, but now they don't even seem like they're tranquilizer darts. Now they're just like an annoyance. You're like, fuck!
They're like a thorn bush.
Yeah, right, exactly. Or like a paintball gun.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it. Yeah, in the first one when people are getting, I recall like Dee Wallace like almost fucking dying from it. But like in these, Big Rosalie and Dad are just napping on the couch. And it's just weird.
Well, part of that is because we're not really putting the critters in the same shots as our actors in this one. I think the budget was too low for that.
You got that right.
So they're using that. And every time we check in with the critters, they're just having mischief. I'd like to describe my favorite scene in the movie to you. Okay?
Yeah, I said please. Go ahead.
Okay, so first, a critter farts.
Right.
Okay. Then another critter says, P.U. Okay? Then the first critter farts again. And then they have a food fight.
Correct. This is all in the kitchen, I believe.
That's all. Well, they're in the kitchen for a lot of the movie.
One's taking a bath in the sink. Yeah.
That's right. I really enjoyed that sequence. I never thought I'd ever see a critter fart. I never thought I'd hear one say P.U. It was just like an embarrassment of riches. Like, this is giving me the goods.
That's interesting how I felt so different from you in every conceivable aspect.
I thought Critters 3 was fun, man. I think this movie is the best Critters movie.
Really?
I really do. And part of part of that's a personal taste thing because we are confined to one apartment complex. And
okay.
I love a people trapped somewhere together movie.
Well, I love that too, but all right.
But I thought the girl was a more engaging lead than we've
She
had
was.
so far in this franchise.
She was. That's true.
Charlie, who's the most annoying character in the franchise, is kept to a minimum in this film.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's sort of a Deus Ex Charlie, actually, because he shows up in the beginning of the movie to deliver exposition. This is his only role in this movie is A, show up at the beginning, make sure the characters know what critters are.
Right.
Okay. Then later in the movie, show up at the last second and kill the critters.
I guess, yeah. Well, remember, he was also running in between sets, probably, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. He's sort of Chekhov's Charlie in this movie.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Wow.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
So, I appreciated that. Then we get my second favorite scene of the movie where the little boy is on the fucking roof of the apartment complex.
Right.
And he leans against the wall, like, the little retaining wall on the roof.
Yeah.
And he just falls backwards over it and falls off the roof. And they catch him. But watching this little boy just, like, tumble backwards from a rooftop is good.
Good moment. Yeah, that's a good point. I will say I thought this was the worst.
That's
Critters
crazy.
movie.
Come on, it didn't have any space bullshit.
It is awful. I mean, it is an unwatchable piece of shit. I don't know where you.
I totally disagree. I think this is watchable. I think if I'm ever going to watch another Critters movie in my life, it's going to be this one.
Interesting. Yeah, no, it didn't have the surprise element of the first one. It didn't have the shitty sequelized version of the second one. It just is this utter piece of shit, and it's just telling time and just counting one. And the acting is so.
The acting is not bad. The acting is not bad in this movie, Henry.
Bad.
First of all, you have an Academy Award winner in this movie.
Just very true.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I thought the sad bearded dad who is still not over his wife's death was good. I loved the scene where he's trying to eat a TV dinner and watch a sitcom and the TV blows out and then the girl's like, well, that's fine. Let's play a game. Let's bond. And he's like, I just want to watch a fucking sitcom. And then he says, can I have your battery powered TV? And she throws it at him. There's some family drama. I'm telling you, this is a deeper movie than Revolutionary Road.
Yeah. I just can't.
You mentioned there's old people in the movie. They've got one of the great old ladies of all time in Frances Bay. Yeah, she was Happy Gilmore's grandmother who was getting abused at the nursing home from Ben Stiller. All right.
Okay.
She's great. I thought Big Rosalie was great. Obviously, Pervy Frank was great. Okay.
Couldn't do it.
I'm telling you, this Linda Cardellini girl was dynamite. The only bad performance in the movie was the little boy, and he falls off a roof.
Right. Well, I disagree. I think most of the performances were pretty bad. The worst being, I thought, Rosalie, not the main father, but the sweater-wearing father.
He wasn't great, but he died like immediately, dude.
Not soon enough.
You know who got offered the role of the dad, by the way?
Of that particular dad?
No. The bearded, sad dad.
Let me see. Tom Selleck?
Good guess. But we're too soon. It's too soon after 3 Men and a Baby. He's too big.
Harrison Ford?
No, it's Cary Elwes.
Nice.
He passed on that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had to go make, what was he making in 99?
I don't know. That was probably the only time he passed on anything in his entire career. Let's look it up. Let's see what Cary Elwes was doing in 1991 to 92.
He's been in some good stuff.
I mean, what has he been in? Princess Bride?
He was in the first Saw movie.
Whatever.
Glory.
He was in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
There you go.
Played Robin Hood. Another Robin Hood movie.
You watch Stranger Things. Apparently he's in that.
Oh, he's in that a little bit.
Princess Bride.
Here we go. Hot Shots. That's probably what he did instead of this
I
movie.
remember that, sure,
Yeah.
with Charlie Sheen. And there's a Hot Shots Part 2.
Which is even better than the first one.
Well, that sounds
Oh,
like
we should
something
cover this.
to cover.
Yeah. We've never covered like a spoof movie.
No, not yet.
Yeah, we got to do Airplane. We've got to do Scary Movie.
Airplane, I'm looking forward to.
Do those
I haven't seen it.
Friedberg Seltzer joints count? Like disaster movie, superhero movie? Is that a
I don't
franchise?
I don't know. You got to see if they're linked in any way.
Listeners, let us know about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Probably.
All right.
Yeah. So this film, of course, I was, as somebody not enjoying any portion of this film, was very disappointed when the movie supposedly ended and the credits came up, and I was just about to hit stop.
Oh my God, Henry!
It's not over.
This is the most irritating thing I've ever seen in a movie.
I'm glad you didn't like it.
No, this is horrible. Now, what they decided to do was basically they filmed a stinger sequence, but
Yeah.
they had it go throughout the credits, so you'd see like 20 seconds of it, and then there'd be a freeze frame, and there'd be more credits, and then you'd see like 20 seconds of it, and it's like a nothing scene with like Charlie talking to a hologram, and the hologram says you can't kill the critters, there's only 2 left in the world, and we need to like study them or whatever, so bring them to this location. That's the whole scene, but it goes on for like 6 minutes or something like that, and and it drove me nuts. And then, to add insult to injury, Henry, I watched Critters 4 directly after finishing Critters 3.
Oh, I agree.
And Critters 4 starts with the fucking scene. I could have skipped it.
I couldn't believe that either. I felt the same way when I was flabbergasted.
I was
stunned.
furious.
Yeah, it was really annoying because there was no recap needed. I guess because there was time between releases, they wanted to. I don't know.
No, I understand why they put that scene at the beginning of Critters 4. That's fine. But if you're going to do that, then don't put the exact same scene at the end of Critters 3 for 6 goddamn minutes.
Right. No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that was bad. That was another bad point on the movie for me.
Yeah, well, that was annoying. I wrote down here, most annoying credits ever. And then it ends with to be continued. And I don't know if you stuck around to the very end, but very funny joke. It says, no critters were harmed in the making of this film.
Yeah, I actually did. I'm not sure why. It must have come pretty quickly after the actual movie had ended, but I did see that, yes.
Yeah, they had a real fun time making this movie.
Great experience.
What do you give Critters 3?
1 star.
All right, I'm going to give it a 2. I'm going to give it a 2, and I'm going to say it's better than Critters 1. The ranking currently is 3-1-2.
All right, okay, 3-1-2. Mine currently would be 1-2-3.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, you know what? You like 2 more than this.
Well, 2 is fucking horrendous.
Dog shit.
Yeah, it's horrendous. I mean, this is like choosing between dog shit and, bird shit.
No, dog shit and a fine Merlot.
Well, my MVP's Annie. Well, that was easy from the beginning. I could tell she had acting chops.
My MVP's Frank, baby.
Frank sucks. My LVP, I was going to give it to Rosalie or the Sweater Dad, but you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, man. I'm going to go with Leo. Because he's now, especially since you told me he's 16.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear it, Leo. These days, a 16-year-old, if you were in this, you're over, man. You're done.
You're 100% right, by the way, because you expect an actor of Leo's caliber, if you see him at 16, it should be like, it was there. It was there. Yeah. He had the charisma. He just needed to put it all together. But no, this is a bad performance. It's a nothing performance. He's got that flippity floppy hair that everyone had in the early 90s. I'm telling you, you put Jonathan Brandis in this role, you're going to get the same performance.
There you go. Good call. Yeah, he's dead, right?
If you put Joshua Jackson in this role, he'll be better.
There you go.
Yeah, Jonathan Brandis killed himself. Sidekick the bucket. I'll go with Leo as my LVP just because I'll never have the opportunity again.
Oh, you probably will.
He doesn't do franchises.
Yet. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I think he's steering clear of these fucking things. It's the one thing you kind of have to give Leo.
He's not interested.
Yeah.
Well, LVP, Leo, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm a fan. Dan is not, but we're both shitting on your Critters 3 performance.
Sure. Do we have a superhero count? It's not Leo, I'll tell you that much.
0. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it, Henry.
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Nothing.
Well, mostly
Got one
because
person.
none of these actors are working anymore.
Exactly, yeah. But no, nothing. Not a 1. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to Critters 4.
Critters 4.
Okay. So this comes out less than a year later, October 14th, 1992. And that's just in time for Halloween.
Perfect.
All right? So put that in your little plastic pumpkin,
Yeah.
and you'll be loving it.
What am I getting for Halloween night? Want to watch Halloween? No. We've seen that. What is this? We're at the video store.
Hey, you see that house down there? Ring the bell. They're giving out Critters movies.
There you go. You imagine as a kid, you go trick-or-treating, and someone just hands you a video?
Well, you always knew all the houses that gave you full-size candy bars.
That's a good point.
You memorized those,
Yeah,
and so it would be the same as that. Maybe I'll do that as a grown man. I'll hand out VHS copies of Critters 4 to all the kids in the neighborhood, and they'll be like, what is this?
What is this?
Yeah.
What is this odd thing? Is it from the future?
They'll think it's a fucking tablet.
Yeah. Oh, man, they're going to try to, like, push buttons on it and shit. That'd be great, man. It's a great idea.
I think so.
Nah, some kid will strangle himself with the tape or something.
I'm fine with that. Okay, so Critters 4 is directed by producer Rupert Harvey. This is the only thing he's ever directed. But he's been a producer on the Critters franchise from the very beginning, and he's worked on a lot of movies. After the Critters franchise ended temporarily, he produced 2 movies that I've seen, Henry. The Carrot Top vehicle, Chairman of the Board.
Obviously, you saw that.
Yeah, and of course the Snoop Dogg vehicle, Bones.
Really? I remember that.
I rewatched it last week, Henry.
Okay.
Just coincidentally. You know, it doesn't... here's the problem with Bones, okay? It looks good because it's Ernest Dickerson, and he was like Spike Lee's DP, so his movies always look good. But here's the problem with Bones. It is about Snoop Dogg. He was like a gangster in the 70s, and he's killed, and then he's killed by like 5 people, like drug dealers, and then he comes back from the dead. Well, he's like a spirit or whatever, to kill them. And that's all well and good, and Snoop Dogg is dynamite in the movie.
Sure.
But for like the first hour of the movie, he's just doing spooky shit off screen and only appearing in like briefly in flashbacks. So he's really only in the last half hour.
He was probably too high to really be effective on set.
But he's great. All I'm saying is, if you get the chance to see Bones, not the TV show, that's great. Watch all 12 seasons. But this Bones, what you want to do is just watch the last half hour. Okay.
All right. I'm going to not put it on my queue, but if for some reason it ever happens, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know what Ernest Dickerson's best movie is?
No.
Surviving the Game.
Surviving the Game. Don't know it.
What?
I don't think so.
That's legit, Henry. That's a legit wreck. It's like a Most Dangerous Game kind of a situation.
Oh, okay.
And I revisited it recently in the wake of Rutger Hauer's passing, R.I.P.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the one who's hunting Ice-T. Ice-T plays a homeless man who Rutger Hauer is hunting in the jungle. And it is a perfect action movie.
Really? Is it, like, legit?
Legit.
So this was that screenshot you sent me that day.
Yes, it is.
Okay, yes, that was great. I like that. I didn't. It says a lot about our relationship. I didn't even ask you, what movie it was, because there was no need to ask, and you
No.
didn't say what it was either, because there was no need to tell.
No, you didn't question the idea that I'd watch an Ice-T Rutger Hauer
No,
movie.
it was just like, oh yeah, obviously that's on his computer right now.
Absolutely. But yeah, so check it out. Surviving the Game. Great movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Okay, Critters 4. Okay, so we talked about director Rupert Harvey. David J. Show is back to write. Rupert Harvey also has a writing credit. And another guy, they fucking cobbled this movie together. I think they even gave a writing credit to the dude that plays Charlie. Because I guess he improvised on set, so they gave him, dialogue credits.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow, what a great improvisational artist he is. Yeah, also a quick word. I'm sure the audience was clamoring for this, for our audience. The music so far in these movies sucks, no matter who's writing it. Just want to point that out.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah. The 4 takes some weird turns with the music. We get some Western themes, and then we get some space themes.
I found that interesting, the Western themes, because
I agree.
It's a space movie, and we're kind of, for a while, trying to make it sort of a space Western. And I'm sitting there watching this thinking, did Joss Whedon rip off Critters 4 for Firefly?
Or Alien Resurrection, which also features Brad Dourif.
That's right.
A lot going on in Alien Resurrection. I kept thinking, somebody watched Critters 4.
All right, before we go too deep, how about a top 10 list? Oh, Shadows and Fog is this year.
That's what I thought.
Okay, that's why it's on this list. Okay.
That's okay. It was on an honorable mention anyway. All
right, honorable mentions are Batman Returns, A Few Good Men, White Men Can't Jump, Singles, Glengarry Glen Ross, and Simple Men.
I haven't heard of Simple Men.
You've never heard of Hal Hartley movies.
Oh, yeah, Hal Hartley, right.
Hal Hartley, I think, may be the most underrated director in the history of cinema, because lots of people have never heard of him.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All of those are good choices. I'm surprised Batman Returns was knocked off your 10. I thought
I know.
Jeez.
Maybe it should be I'm going to put it at number 10.
No, it's too late.
Okay.
Honorable mentions, Bad Lieutenant, Wayne's World.
Oh, good.
The Water Dance.
Sure.
And Dan's favorite of the franchise we covered, Alien 3.
Great. Okay, so my number 10, now it's Batman Returns, but originally it was Jim Jarmusch's Night on Earth.
I'd stay with that.
What, it's not like you like that anymore.
No, I don't. That's your number 10?
Yeah.
Number 10 for me is Louis Malle's great movie, Damage.
Yeah, I've never seen it. My number 9 is a film called In the Soup.
In the Soup. All right.
Now, that's a little independent picture with a young Steve Buscemi, which I rewatched recently and found myself really loving. And that was another one that I watched because somebody died. Because one of the main characters in that film is played by Seymour Cassel.
Oh my God! Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't know he died. Wow. Great character.
The great Seymour Cassel from many Cassavetes films and also Wes Anderson films. He's great.
He's one of those M. Emmett Walsh type guys, man. Anything that fucking guy was in, he makes it a little bit better.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. All right, number 9, Nick Curran for Basic Instinct.
Nice. Detective Curran.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Shadows and Fog.
All right, my number 8 is Mr. Pink, speaking of Steve Buscemi, Reservoir Dogs.
Nice. My number 7 is Twin Peaks Firewalk with Me.
All right, my number 7, another pretty good director. I don't know what he's doing these days. This movie, number 7, is Hoffa.
Well, these days he's filming season 13 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Is he still doing it?
Yes.
My God, I thought that show was off the air.
No, they're doing a 13th season.
I watched the first few, and that was enough for me.
I still love it. It's great.
I like that show. It just had a little bit of the Veep with it for me, where it was a tad exhausting.
Hard to care about the characters.
Yeah, it was a little exhausting. Very funny, but yeah. All right.
I like to be on its wavelength. They only do 10 episode seasons now, so I'm happy to tune into that show for 10
That's
episodes
better.
a year.
Yeah.
My number 6 is The Player.
Oh yeah. All right. My number 6 is A Few Good Men.
Heavy hitters. My number 5 is Reservoir Dogs.
My number 5 is Glengarry Glen Ross.
My number 4 is Bad Lieutenant.
Nice. My number 4 is Husbands and Wives.
My number 3 is Unforgiven.
My number 3 is Malcolm X.
Yeah, that's a good number 3. My number 2.
Yeah, it is.
I'm excited to see what beat it.
Well, you know what beat it already, so...
What, Dances with Wolves? What is this here?
92.
My number 2 is Husbands and Wives.
All right, well, you won't like this, but my number 2 is The Last of the Mohicans.
Listen, I like The Last of the Mohicans. That's a great movie. Not good enough to be on a top 10 list for this year. Certainly not better than Malcolm X.
Well, you know, I've stated before I'd like to see Malcolm X again in its entirety. I seem to recall it being a tad long. Am I wrong on that? Or is it a perfect movie?
It's both.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very long and also perfect.
So it doesn't work against it in my
No,
memories?
listen, a lot of people don't like that last 20 minutes where it like turns into a documentary at the last second.
I didn't mean that, yeah. Okay, all right.
But other than
Whatever,
that, it's perfect.
Whatever, man. Look, Last of the Mohicans is one of my favorite movies ever, so it's going to be number 2.
Great score, great lead performance, great cinematog, great movie.
Which movie are you discussing?
Last Mohicans.
Oh, good. Yeah. All right. Okay.
My number 1 is Malcolm X, of course, and what is yours?
Forgiven.
Unforgiven, right? Okay.
It's a masterpiece too.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah.
my number 3.
I have no issue with my top 5 movies.
Okay, let's talk about this beautiful space opera, Critters 4. Now, I've been saying from the very beginning, Henry, I said this last week, I think the Critters franchise has delusions of Star Wars.
Sure.
I really think that the producers behind the Critters franchise want to create a Critters cinematic universe.
You're probably right. Well, they did.
Because we're introduced to all kinds of alien species, and we're told that the critters are from outside our own Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
And
I feel like there's that, and there's an alien thing going big time.
that's more in this movie. But I just mean the franchise as a whole.
Okay.
Okay.
Just like with the ships and the different quadrants of, yeah.
Right, and I
get it.
think that's why I like Critters 3 so much, is because they, like, get rid of that. They ignore that shit.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I'm not into it. So Critters 4, the logo comes in, and it explodes. I love an exploding logo.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. The film pulled me in pretty after the start.
Film pulled me in. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I was still reeling. I took a 2-day break. I watched Critters 3, and then 2 days later watched this.
That was smart.
Yeah, it was. And besides the Charlie recap, I was just right away happy to see Angela Bassett
Well, yes. That is one thing this movie has. Real actors.
and Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif is giving his all in this fucking movie.
It's unbelievable, dude. He and her.
They're both great. Honestly, like,
They really are.
it's a hard choice for MVP. They both make it to
I
the
agree.
end. They both have actual roles in this movie with, like, major screen time. And, like, way more than Leo had in the third one.
I agree with you.
And they're both really good.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the LVP for me was actually pretty easy, but yeah, the MVP was tough. But yeah, right off the bat, I'm kind of involuntarily, involved because the actors are just, they command the screen, even in this complete set design piece of shit ship we're in. Which isn't as bad as I thought.
Come on, though.
It's
The special
terrible,
effects are so bad. When they're bringing in the fucking container with the critters with that fucking tractor beam, that is one of the worst looking effects I've ever seen in a movie.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it is bad. I was thinking they'd be even worse. They're better than the. See, here's where we're gonna.
I don't think they're particularly better than Leprechaun 4.
Leprechaun 4. Which one is that now?
In space.
Oh, they're better than that. Come on now.
They're not much better than that.
Come on now. Jesus. Look.
I don't know. Listen. So we we get the title card. The Critters 4 logo explodes, and then it says, "Somewhere in Saturn Quadrant 2045."
Yeah, somewhere in Saturn Quadrant, because there's a lot happening in the Saturn Quadrant.
Now, this is very interesting in that we're cutting forward to 2045 from presumably 1991.
Right.
And what we're led to believe is, so you know how there were bounty hunters in the first two going after the critters?
Right.
They were assigned to do that from, like, the galactic government. Okay?
It's
But-
intergalactic law. Yeah.
But since that happened, the Intergalactic Council has folded, okay? So, Mace Windu, he's off on his own. That guy with the tall head, he's not there anymore.
Nope.
All right, Yoga's gone back to digital Dagobah. And
Right.
So
It's a free-for-all.
it is a free-for-all. So these guys, they're on, like, sort of a junker ship. That's why it's like Alien.
Correct.
And who's our crew here? We've got sort of a perverted captain.
With an indistinguishable accent of some
it's
Scandinavian origin. He's the worst.
It's like a Nazi accent, Like
Yeah, but it's not even German.
No, but
It's
I'm not saying German. I'm saying sometimes in movies when they want to have like an evil guy, Nazis are the go-to evil guy, and they don't have them really do a German accent. It's like a standard Nazi accent.
Yeah, you're right. He's from Greenland. Look at that.
How about that?
Greenland.
Yeah.
Wow.
That country is going to be wiped off the map in a couple of years. By 2045, are you kidding me?
Oh, that's
It's
just gonna
melted.
be One big iceberg floating in the sea, or nothing.
Yeah, that iceberg's melting.
Have we ever covered what do you call someone from Greenland?
Greenlander.
Greenlander. Is that it? There's nothing?
I only know that because there's a Pavement song called that.
Okay. I haven't encountered that.
Check out it was a B-side on Slanted and Enchanted.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, a part of an EP called Watery, Domestic. No big deal. Check out more on Pavement on Pave CDC. Patreon.com/thefranchise.
So he's from Greenland. He's the worst actor in the movie.
Agreed.
Okay, good. Yeah. The second worst actor is the drug-addled.
And it's weird that he's in this movie, by the way, because he's sort of a poor man's Brad Dourif.
The captain of the ship.
Yeah.
He's like a cigar-chomping fool. He reminded me of like the guy who played like the villain in Ghostbusters 2.
Oh,
he's like
that's not bad. Yeah, he's like Vigo.
Right, like Vigo, or like Alan Rickman's henchman in the first Die Hard with the long blonde hair.
Right.
Alexander Goodenough. He's kind of like that. He can't quite place, but the difference being between, well, maybe Vigo. But
I feel like in the early days of the podcast, we talked about Alexander Goodenough constantly.
All the time.
Yeah.
Regular. Yeah, I think he was dead by this point.
All right, so who else? You got the captain.
So you got Bernie, this inexplicable kind of, I guess, drug addict? I don't know. We don't ever see him, I don't think, doing drugs, but there's like references to him getting a fix.
That's right. That's right. He's looking
Great
for a
God.
fix. I think it might be a problem with the performance. Like he's supposed to be playing that he's like going through withdrawal, but like
Not at all.
yeah, but it doesn't really come across. I do love this guy though. It's Eric Dare who played Leo, the boyfriend who like beats up Madchen Amick all the time in Twin Peaks.
Oh, okay.
Remember that guy with like he had a ponytail and a truck. And he's like,
Yes.
"Don't bring guys over here."
Oh my
Yeah.
God! Wow, Jesus Christ! Yeah. Okay. So I
Yeah.
have seen him before. I didn't mind him in that.
No, I like him in that, but yeah, he's kind of nothing in this movie. It was just sort of funny to see him in this.
Weird. Yeah.
But so yeah, you got that guy. Who's next?
We got Ethan the kid, who's fine.
Ethan the kid. I don't even remember that.
The fucking teenager, man.
Oh, that's right. This kid sucks.
He's fine. I've seen worse.
I mean, me too. But I mean, this guy, he's such a little prat. He's such a fucking twat.
Well, right. I mean, but I guess when he first came on screen, I was expecting the worst performance in the series, and
But
I
it's
didn't
not
get
like
that.
it's not like it's a worse performance. It's more like he's one of these characters like you don't know how old he is because he looks like he could be like 30. But
Right.
he reminded me of the character from The Room. You know, like that dude, John. Like you're not my fucking mother. That kid.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, he's just like always walking around like, guys, like we need to go.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what, I was trying to figure out, like, how did he get there? What's his role here? What is his purpose on the ship? He's kind of like hated by the main captain and liked by by Bassett and
Yeah.
Dora.
Well, that's what he is basically. He's like the crew's mascot.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. So we're introduced also to Counselor Tetra, who bears a striking resemblance to Ugg, which I guess was supposed to fool
Wait, what?
us. So Counselor Tetra is the one who communicates with the ship and says, "What you've got, we'll pay you 3 times for the thing. I work for TerraCore."
Right.
Remember that? It's Ugg. Yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Anyway, but he's not part of the crew. I'm just saying, let's talk about the crew.
All right. Oh, you're
So
still
the
on.
crew is German captain, Nazi captain, the Leo, the guy from Twin Peaks, that child, Angela Bassett, and Brad Dourif. Is everyone accounted for?
Chucky and Tina Turner, and that is it. Yeah.
By the way, that was the next year. How was Angela Bassett in Critters 4?
No.
She like made Critters 4 in the same 365 days that she was nominated for an Oscar.
That's fucking crazy, man. I don't know. I gotta pull up her filmography because she was in other stuff prior to this.
She played Betty Shabazz in Malcolm X the same year of Critters 4.
She was in Kindergarten Cop. She was only in 2 movies prior to this.
No. Listen, she was one of these people that shows up and does nothing. Like she was a struggling actress in Kindergarten Cop. She is a stewardess on an airplane and she has like 1 line.
Okay, and then comes Critters 4, and then after that, it's off to the races.
You think Spike Lee saw Critters 4 and was like, "Get her in Malcolm"? No, of course she was in Boys in the Hood too.
Right,
So, yeah.
right, and she just didn't look back really. And so, obviously, as anyone would, had some duds in her career.
No,
but
but she's one of our finest actors.
she's awesome, dude.
No, she's on that fucking show 911 now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I love that show. And
Alright.
she is engaged right now on that show to the character played by Peter Krause.
Oh,
And they have like the sweetest chemistry.
that's lovely. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love him and I love her. So
I know.
there you go. Perfect.
All right, so Bassett. So they find this ship, right? And they're delivering the Krite eggs, which are in this container that Charlie put them in at the end of Critters 3 and the
Right.
beginning of this movie in the same scene.
Dumb He fell in it too, so he's now.
Oh, that's right. He's in right, of course. So they're delivering this to a ship, and they get there and find the ship abandoned, and it's this really big ship, and it's sort of in disarray. There's like a lady voice who is supposed to like do shit, like a Hal situation, but
yeah, well, really like a mother.
Yeah,
Mother
you're right.
aliens.
You're right.
I mean, it's every which way but loose. This is trying alien shit. It's got a dilapidated ship. It's got a female computerized voice, and then we got a little Star Wars thrown in there and a garbage compactor.
Absolutely,
scene.
there is.
We got a TerraCore evil corporation trying to breed aliens that kill everything in sight.
Weyland-Yutani.
So, yep. Wow. Boy, am I impressed that you remembered that, because I didn't.
Weyland-Yutani? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm impressed, man.
You all the times you fucking watched Prometheus, you couldn't pull that?
It slipped my mind. Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Well, the first things first, Henry. We're on a new ship. What is it time for? Shower time, baby.
Time for a shower.
Oh,
Take a shower.
yeah. So Bassett, she takes off all of her clothes, and she jumps into the hot water, and we get a sweet close-up of that wet ass, baby.
I was wondering.
It's it's gotta be a butt double.
That's exactly what I thought.
Of
That's
course.
what I was going to say. Yeah,
we never see her face in the same shot because they pan up her body, and we get bare butt and full side boob, being very careful just to avoid the areola.
Yeah, and I bet, Angela Bassett, even though she's trying to get ahead there, there's no way. I just can't picture. I bet she's just like, you're not going to be showing my ass, so have fun, but yeah.
Yeah, Bassett's like, listen, I'm struggling right now, but I'm not showing my ass in Critters 4.
What do I look like, Sharon Stone?
I don't think even Stone would do it.
Oh, no, never.
I watched Action Jackson recently.
You don't think Sharon Stone would? She did it in fucking Total Recall.
But those are real movies. Like, I don't think she'd do it in Critters 4. She didn't get naked in Action Jackson.
Okay.
Although she definitely fucked Carl Weathers behind the scenes.
For no reason.
What, to get ahead? Carl Weathers, he was the star of the movie.
I think I'm gonna get ahead by fucking Carl Weathers.
That's right.
Or maybe I won't. Who knows?
Carl, give me that Action Jackson, baby.
I've done 2 impressions tonight. One is Sharon Stone, and I would argue my Leonardo DiCaprio is the more original of the 2.
And more accurate.
Isn't it? I kind of came up with that impression of him on the spot.
Yeah, that sounded about right.
He's just in pain a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted some praise from you. That's all.
One thing he does too, Leonardo DiCaprio, he has diction. He's definitely taken diction lessons in his life. He's a good enunciator.
He enunciates his word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens? So Bassett's showering, and that creepy captain walks in and is like, "Oh, can I join you, honey?"
Yep.
And she
fooled me.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna fuck, and then she just turns around
there.
and punches him.
That's good acting there. I was fooled. I mean, I don't know the relationship on this ship. I can't tell. Mm-hmm. So she duly knocks him the fuck out.
Yeah, he gets taken out. And meanwhile, Dorff's hanging out with the kid doing tech stuff, and then the critters hatch and their little baby critters.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be baby critters the whole movie, but then they grow pretty fast. And then Charlie shows up and ruins everything. I got to tell you, once Charlie showed up in this movie, I'm out. Like, I super didn't pay attention for the last 40 minutes.
Charlie fan when this thing started.
I thought he really worked as a character in the first one.
I'm just, at this point, he's like your 10th drink at this point. You don't care. He's fine.
No.
And like he starts out like, oh, this is a good lager, and then like 9 in, you're just like, whatever, I'll drink whatever.
No, he's more like a drink for me now, where if I have a drink, it'll ruin my life.
Charlie's fine. I'm just numb. I don't care.
He actively annoys me because at this point, what is he still doing? He was only interested when he's like a flawed character. He's an alcoholic and he's with his friend, the kid, and now he's just like hanging around these fucking movies, and we have to deal with him having no memory of the last like 50 years or something.
Everybody I know's gone. That's right. They're dead.
I loved that actually. Like they don't soften the blow at all. They're like, listen, I'm getting the sense that you've been cryogenically frozen for the last 50 years and you don't remember anything about your life. And he's like, oh my God, that means everybody I know is dead. And they're like, yeah, they're fucking dead, dude.
He goes, Bernie off, he says, they're dead. And then Bassett shoots him a look like, go easy, man. And then he doesn't, and he just goes, they're toast.
They're toast. What a mean thing to say.
A prick. Yeah.
All right.
So Rick's trying to rip him off. He decides he doesn't like this. After he got denied his sexual advances, and, probably having been in space as long as he has, I can understand his frustration.
Who's he fucking? Yeah. Bassett's the only woman in this entire movie.
Right. I mean, so he's visibly annoyed, and it's not like we're in a Total Recall like depot where there's like 3-tittied hookers or anything around, right? He can't, help himself. So
right, like Nowhere from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, so he can't, he's like, fuck this, I'm going down, I'm stealing the contents of the pod. And so that's when Charlie comes out. That's when the critters, I gotta say, give him a pretty gruesome death and a pretty good one.
I wasn't impressed with any deaths in this movie.
Okay, see, yeah, that's how I felt about 3, and in this one almost made me look away. I mean, the thing's like burrowing inside of his fucking mouth. I mean, I don't.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't need to see that, but it was good, and it was all right. Yeah. So Rick's dead. Then they're just trying to basically figure out the containment system, how to get out of there, right? How to fly out. There's only 2 fucking critters at this point, and they can't find them. How do you think this crew would fare in like an alien type situation? I feel like not very well.
How do the critters reproduce, Henry? Because there's only 2, right, and we're not told what gender they are, but they do lay eggs.
I believe they're asexual. They go into that lab, I think. They get into that laboratory, and something happens where all of a sudden they have the ability to multiply.
Well, you don't think those 2 critters fucked?
I mean, they could have.
I would love to see a critter sex scene.
Yeah, I figured that.
What do you think it would look like?
Probably just hear like a lot of squealing.
Yeah. Right, just rolling around on each other.
Maybe one of them would yell "fuck."
Maybe like how sometimes they're just koosh balls rolling around, and then like they bare their teeth. Like maybe they bare their dick the same way.
Maybe it's happening. I mean, maybe we've seen it and don't even know.
Holy shit, you're blowing my mind. I bet they're really big too. Then it just looks like they're like a ball, like at the end of a stick.
Yeah. Oh man.
Anyway, this movie was boring. I give it a 1.
I disagree. This movie was totally fine by me.
I was kind of okay with it for like the first half hour. I was like, I will say, like, as
an UGG turn,
as like a horror in space kind of a situation, it is definitely better than Leprechaun in Space. I would say not as good as Jason X.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, no, this movie's totally shitty but fine. It's a 2-star movie.
No, it's a 1. I don't know, man. It was like a poor man's Event Horizon or something.
I almost like it better than the first one. Look, man, I like having Bassett and Dorff, and I didn't mind being in space. I'm getting tired of the Iowa cornfields and shit, you know?
Well, that's a problem. I have a problem with that. There's too much fields in these movies. There's other places on Earth. Instead of going to 2045, can't we have like the Critters take Manhattan?
Now I'd be down for
Come
that.
on, urban critters would be good. How about like Mardi Gras critters?
Oh, I like that
All right.
idea.
How about the critters take the Capitol steps, huh?
Here you go. All right. Yeah. Now
How about-
you're thinking, look at you.
How about the critters at the royal wedding? All right. How about like a District 9 critters in like an apartheid village in South Africa?
The critters go to Africa.
There's so much you can do.
That'd be- Yeah, critters take Tokyo.
That would be great.
Uh,
And then everyone just
Critter-
thinks they're like Pokemon or something.
Oh, critters go to Fire Island.
A gay critters? How about the critters on a gay cruise?
Perfect.
That's a movie.
movie right there. It writes itself.
It really does. I'm telling you, we should be in charge of this franchise.
I agree. Well, it's not too late to hop on board.
How about like the Thing critters? Critters in the Arctic.
Oh, yeah. The problem with the critters, if I may expound.
You may.
That, they're not scary creatures.
No, they're
so
not.
that essentially goes against the grain. Of it just not. It works against itself from the get go.
Even the title, Critters, it's just so generic. Like, all it is like, hey, there are these little things that kill you.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to have little things that are scary, it is possible. Like I said, I cannot wait to revisit Gremlins. But, it's inherently not scary. So I don't, unless you got somebody in there with some real craft, I don't know how it's going to work. So, Critters.
Who are you going to put in there? Ideally, if you were going to have someone direct a Critters movie, who would it be? I mean, part of me just wants to say fucking Joe Dante because he directed Gremlins.
I think that's an excellent answer. I mean, Joe Dante, I was going to say it wouldn't be scary, but I'd at least get some better gore, and that would be John Waters.
That's great. See, that's what you need. Think outside the box. Get fucking Danny McBride on the Critters.
There you go. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh boy.
Steve-
You know what I actually would watch, Henry? You know how Will Ferrell's always doing these shitty movies that are like comedic versions of old shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Do that.
Okay.
Will
I
Ferrell
hear-
with do like give it the Land of the Lost Holmes and Watson treatment.
All right, then it'll work.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean those movies are bad, but maybe this one will be good.
I mean, but I see where you're going. Yeah.
What I
It
think
seems-
you want to do with Critters is make it a comedy, but really gory. You know what you want to do, actually? You remember Piranha 3D that came out, 10 years
Yeah,
ago,
sure.
maybe?
Sure.
That's the treatment you need for Critters.
Yeah, I think you're right. But you need a little bit more money. You really do.
No, that's what I'm saying. You need like an $8 million budget.
At least. Yeah. Because, it's one thing. When the creatures look better than
But
the
you want
house
you want them to be
in,
practical.
bad sign. Yeah. But I mean, you hear what I said? Like, it's a bad sign when the set that you're acting on is so bad that you can't even get past that. Let's pay for some good sets. The critters will take care of themselves. They're simple enough,
Yeah.
Brilliant oratory on these.
Yeah, we're really analyzing this.
I think so. All right.
So you give it a 2, I give it a 1. My MVP, ultimately, I did think Brad Dourif was fantastic in this movie, but I'm going to go with Angela Bassett.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I wrote Bassett. Yeah, I wrote Angela Bassett. I mean, what a comeback.
What's your LVP?
That's going to go to Rick. the actor Anders Rove from Greenland.
Right.
He was esque.
I'll go
His
with the
acting.
kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Worse actor than Rick. Okay.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, hey, we didn't mention that Ugg,
I said heel turn, yeah.
Yeah, he has a real big heel turn, which
That's
I
cute.
kind of didn't make sense.
No, they don't really. I mean, all of a sudden, 50 years go by. So that, of course, also makes you wonder. Those of you following our very careful timeline here that we've been keeping throughout.
It's like he's part of the Empire.
Right. Now, what
He looks
that
like
means-
fucking Grand Moff Tarkin in this
That's
movie.
right. And if what happens within that 50 years, okay, but it doesn't because Charlie sees the hologram in 1991. So Ugg has turned already, right? So maybe this thing about
That's
saving
right.
credits, it's all bullshit. He just wants them for bioweapons. So Ugg has done a very abrupt turn. Yeah.
It's an abrupt heel turn. It's sort of like Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 17.
Just turns bad.
Yeah. I know that was on the tip of your tongue.
That's what I was going to say before you did.
Yeah.
But beat me to it.
Okay. Is there a superhero count for this one?
Oh yeah, there's 3.
Oh, okay. I'd love to hear it. Can I take a crack at this?
Sure.
Bassett was in Black Panther, right?
Correct. And 2 other things.
She's in 2 other things. That's interesting.
Live action.
Well, she should have played Storm in the X-Men.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. What else? What? Tell me.
You played Amanda Waller in Green Lantern.
The movie? The Ryan Reynolds movie?
Yeah.
God, I have no memory of that.
Not crazy. Neither do I. And I saw that shit.
Me too, in theaters.
And she played Linda Lake in the TV series in the 90s, The Flash.
Yeah, that's a legitimate character. I don't remember what it is, but that name rings a bell.
Yeah. So there you go.
The little kid, the kid who maybe is 30, like he was in The Flash too, right?
I didn't come across that.
Oh, well, I think you're wrong.
Stumped? Paul Winmore?
Yeah, I don't have my phone
Oh, I know
on
why.
me.
If I didn't get that, it's because he doesn't have a wiki page. He wasn't.
Well, I found him on IMDb. Yeah, he was in like one episode of the 90s Flash TV show.
Oh, he was?
Mhm.
So he knows Angela Bassett.
I don't know if they were the same episode.
They're friends.
They're friends. Yeah. In fact, she adopted him and raised him as her own son.
Now living with Peter Krause.
That's right.
But not before you can say Umna Bidi Dambala.
Give me the power! I beg of you!
I beg to get back to those. Brad Dourif, of course. Thomas Nash in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Thomas Nash. Is that guy Russell Crowe played in A Beautiful Mind?
I know, that's what I thought. Isn't that his name? Or
I
is that
think
John?
I think it's John Nash. You're right.
Okay, the racist mathematician. All right, yeah.
The racist bisexual mathematician that
There
they
you
didn't
go.
cover any of that in that
Hey.
movie.
Ron Howard. Leaving that out.
That's right, Ron. Soften those edges, baby.
In the blow.
Yeah.
No pun intended. All right. The guy, and here we go. Here's a good one. The guy who played Bernie, the drug addict, the pill popper in this, played by your friend, obviously, from Twin Peaks,
Eric DeRay. Mm-hmm.
played Tyrone, also on the 90s Flash television show.
How about that?
That's got the trifecta for the first time ever, it has to be. The Flash dominating this. I mean, it makes sense. Critters 4 came out, that show was on. There you go. It was
They have
hot
the
shit
same.
for a minute.
It's the same caliber of creative effort involved.
Oh, man, I watched the hell out of that show.
Yeah, I watched them. Okay, well, is that it for this week?